At the beginning of the movie, a drunken old man named Pfluger goes to the sacred Red Indian burial grounds and performs a ritual that awakens an ancient power of healing and steals it. In the next scene, we are introduced to a nerdy high school student named Kelly Mason with pica, an eating disorder that makes him eat inedible items. One morning, Kelly stops by the grocery store on his way to school to get yogurt, which he ultimately empties to eat the cup it came in. This gets him bullied and nicknamed the human garbage disposal by bullies from his school by the names Tucker, Brad, Tony, and brothers Nelson and Reed Whitcomb. Dominique, his childhood friend, whom he has a crush on and who was luckily passing by the store, rescues him. On the other side of town, Red Elk, a native Indian, does a ritual on the sacred grounds of the Indian burial grounds and finds out that the ancient power of healing has been stolen. The next morning, Kelly is homesick and his worried mother, Bernice, calls for his doctor to visit him. The doctor confirms that his eating disorder is the issue and advises her to take him to see a psychologist, as his obsession to eat inedible items may be better treated there. Later that day while shopping, Bernice sees Pfluger claiming to be a reverend and using the gifts of the burial grounds to heal people in exchange for money. She tells him about Kelly's condition, and he sympathizes with her enough that he agrees to go to her home and see Kelly. Just as Pfluger starts to leave with Bernice, Red Elk approaches him and confronts him about the power he stole from the burial grounds. He goes on to explain that it's a sacred power that has been safeguarded for generations and warns him that improper use of it will destroy him. Pfluger is not willing to listen and is rude, so they get into a heated argument just before Pfluger storms off with Bernice. At the Mason's house, Pfluger makes it clear that he is only willing to do this for the money. He somehow manages to heal Kelly, but dies while successfully healing him, and the power is immediately transferred to the teenager. Shocked, Bernice calls the police. Sheriff Adler arrives and reveals that the old man is a known con artist and assures Bernice not to worry as he will take care of the paperwork. The next morning, well-nourished and energized Kelly leaves for school and is met by Reed on his way. Reed bullies Kelly and physically attacks him, but fails to cause him any harm, but instead hurts himself. Kelly then makes the amusing observation that if anybody does anything to harm him, it backfires, and the aggressor feels whatever pain they were trying to inflict upon him. Feeling invincible and on top of the world, Kelly gets a job at the local pizzeria. Back at his house, as Kelly excitedly tells his mom about his new job, they're interrupted by a loud knock on the door. Perplexed, they answer it and see that Coach Whitcomb is at their door, fuming over what had happened to his son Reed that morning. Kelly denies any involvement, and as soon as the coach leaves, he confides in his mom about his new powers, and they decide to keep it a secret. A few days later, during a school bonfire, the bullies get in Kelly's face to start a fight over Dominique, who has always been kind and supportive of Kelly. Coach Whitcomb sees this from a distance and rushes over to break it up just in time. Having had enough, Kelly leaves the bonfire on his bicycle, but Nelson and his gang follow him in Brad's car despite Reed's warnings. Then, after some chase, they catch up to him and run him over, but to their surprise, it backfires, killing Brad while leaving Kelly unscathed. The police arrive and ask both Kelly and the bullies what had happened. The bullies are embarrassed that Kelly has seemingly gotten the better of them and lie and say it was an accident. Kelly attests to this, although for different reasons, hoping to keep his power under wraps. Dominique and her best friend Sarah come to the site of the accident to see what is going on. Kelly confides in Dominique about his new powers. She is very supportive and promises to keep his secret. Meanwhile, Red Elk goes to Pfluger's grave, trying to find out where exactly the ancient healing power had gone. He recites the much detailed ritual and learns that Pfluger had accidentally transferred the power to Kelly before he died. At school, Nelson and the gang plot a prank on Kelly's trailer house in tribute and honor of Brad's death, despite Reed's warning to leave Kelly alone once and for all. On the other side, Kelly, with his newfound confidence, asks Dominique out on a date to the movies, and she accepts. One day, after school, as Kelly finishes up his shift at the pizzeria, Red Elk approaches him and asks him about his recent activities, to which Kelly responds vaguely, dismissing all his speculation of possessing the ancient healing power, reiterating that he only met Pfluger once, when he came to heal me, and doesn't know what's going on. After his shift ends, Kelly goes home to tell his mother that he has asked Dominique out to the movies, which makes Bernice very happy and proud. Bernice then goes to take a nap to soothe her raging headache, and Kelly offers to take her car to go to the pharmacy and grab some aspirin for her. In the meantime, despite Reed's advice against messing with Kelly, Nelson and the gang wait by the back of the trailer, hoping Bernice leaves for work soon, and believing and Kelly is already at work, so they can put their plan into action. As soon as Kelly leaves in his mom's car, thinking no one is home, Nelson and the gang hook and pull apart the support of the trailer with their car. As the trailer starts falling apart, a gas leak ensues, and the trailer blows up with Bernice still inside. Kelly returns from the pharmacy to find his home in flames. He runs inside to save his mom, but sadly, and to his devastation, she is long gone. Once the police respond to the burning trailer, they take Kelly to the hospital to make sure he is okay. Even though Kelly is unharmed, Sheriff Adler, fearing for his life, arranges to keep him there overnight as he doesn't have a next of kin. At the hospital, Red Elk waits for Sheriff Adler and tells him what he has learned about Kelly and the ancient power. Sheriff Adler responds by saying that he would get back what's theirs in due time, but that it's too cruel to bring it up and put Kelly through the ritual of cleansing while he's grieving. After his mother's funeral, as Kelly stands over Pflugert's grave, hoping to find a clue and trying to make sense of everything, Dominique comes to comfort him and they kiss. Right outside the cemetery, Sheriff Adler waits for Kelly and promises him that he will find the best foster home for him and ensures him that he will never leave his side. En route in Sheriff Adler's car to social services, Sheriff Adler asks him if they had any work done on the trailer recently that might have caused its collapse, which makes Kelly doubt if his mom's death was an accident or the work of the evil bullies. Upset with the horrible realization, he storms out of the car. Meanwhile, Nelson and the gang go to the river to celebrate their accomplishments at the trailer. Kelly sees them, follows them, and watches them from a distance. As soon as Tucker jumps in to swim, Kelly bites a piece of Tucker's shirt and chokes himself, which results in Tucker helplessly gasping for air and being choked to death. The rest of the gang are terrified and run for their lives as Kelly tells them that he's coming for all of them. He then goes to Dominique and tells her everything. She advises him that revenge is not the right move and that he should work towards making them confess so that they can be punished properly. The next day, while chemistry class is in session, Kelly baits Tony into attacking him by making fun of him and demanding a confession. Frustrated, Tony throws the chemicals from the lab at Kelly's face, which once again backfires, burns and kills him. Then, hurt and angered by what happened, Sarah attacks him, but again, just ends up hurting herself like the rest. Kelly then manages to flee the school as chaos ensues. Having had a tip, Sheriff Adler decides to examine the back of Coach Whitcomb's pickup truck and finds the chains used to hook and bring down the support of the trailer. Then, he goes to question the boys about their involvement in the fire, but they deny everything with their father's backing. Kelly, who is watching the whole interaction, comes out of his hiding, eats a piece of Nelson's clothes from the car, and starts drilling both his knees with an electric drill, which leaves Nelson in total agony. Terrified, Reed runs away screaming that he doesn't know anything, but the coach takes the sheriff's gun and proceeds to shoot Kelly despite the sheriff's warning, which of course backfires and kills the coach, and is again refracted to kill Nelson. Hearing all the screaming, Dominique appears and pleads with Kelly while crying to give back his powers to Red Elk and be his old self. Kelly agrees to do so for the sake of Dominique. Sheriff Adler takes the couple to Pfluger's grave to meet with Red Elk and perform the ritual. Pfluger's grave is exhumed. Sheriff Adler and Red Elk start the ritual to rid Kelly of the powers. But soon, Red Elk realizes that Kelly has had the powers for far too long and that has become part of him. Red Elk declares that the only way they could successfully manage to cleanse Kelly of the power is by killing and burying him, along with Pfluger, and also suggests that in such an event, he himself can safeguard the power from improper use and provide it with the right security. The sheriff is outraged by this idea and refuses to do anything to harm Kelly. Seeing the way it's unfolding, Dominique regrets her decision and apologizes to Kelly for convincing him to go there. They kiss, and unbeknownst to anyone, the power is transferred to Dominique. Then, backup officers surround them and try to de-escalate the situation, as Red Elk now has a gun pointed at Kelly so that he can kill him and be the sole owner of the ancient power. After a bit of a standoff, the officer shoots both Kelly and Dominique as they are about to flee, and they both fall backward into Pfluger's grave. The shot backfires from Kelly and kills the officer. Kelly is heartbroken to see that Dominique too dies right there on the spot. Kelly is beside himself with anguish. He screams at Pfluger's body, demanding to know why he caused all of this, and that the power shall die right with him, right there. And then, feeling hopeless, Kelly reaches into Pfluger's body, snatches out his decaying heart, and eats it, which kills him immediately. Then, an ambulance arrives and gathers Kelly's and Dominique's bodies and transports them to the hospital. Midway there, much to the shock of the EMTs, Dominique suddenly wakes up with all her wounds already healed. The end. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.